Hello everyone, it's been a while since our last episode, but don't worry since this time we'll be looking at Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Before we start, I just want to acknowledge that I'm very aware that Star Wars is a saga, a massive epic story that spans through multiple films, but within those multiple films, each film is its own story with its own theme and message, so it's kind of like a film mosaic. We plan on going through it in chronological order, starting with Episode 1, and perhaps we'll go through the entire saga. So without further ado, let's go. So the first thing that we're going to do is to identify the main character. By identifying that main character, we can discover what the film might be saying to us in that character's eyes. But who is it? There have been many debates over the years on who that is for this film, but why don't we ask George Lucas himself?
This movie is told primarily from the Jedi's point of view, but the story that's being told is essentially the story of Queen Amidala and her plight of having her planet blockaded, as in, say, Episode 4, where the story is told through the eyes of the droids, and this one is told through the eyes of the Jedi.
Okay, so according to the director and the creator himself, the main hero of this story is the Queen. So if we take a look at her journey, we might be able to discover what this film is all about. While the Trade Federation invades the planet, we got two Jedis, Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi, rescuing the Queen and taking her to Coruscant so she can plead her case to the Galactic Senate. Unfortunately, the ship is damaged and they land to another planet called Tatooine, and this is where the Queen discovers that there are other planets that are not under the protection of the Republic and discovers to her surprise that there are slaves on the planet.
I can't believe there's still slavery in the galaxy. The Republic's anti-slavery laws are...
The Republic doesn't exist out here. We must survive on our own.
Excuse me.
She learns all of this through Anakin and his mother, so this is quite vital to the story than we might think, because this whole thing happening in Tatooine here is her realizing that the Republic doesn't always help other planets that are in need. A sense of doubt might be stirring in her mind at this point that the Republic might actually turn her away, and if they do, then, well, Naboo would be screwed.
Victory!
She's essentially being exposed to the corruption of the Republic already before she even arrives to Coruscant. But when they get to Coruscant, the Queen grows more frustrated with the Senate since they're electing a new Chancellor to solve the issue, and by that time, it will be far too late to save her planet. So, she decides to return to Naboo and rescue the planet for herself. Okay, so this is a lot of stuff, but it's also just one thing. That we can't always rely on government or a group of people to solve all of our problems. Sometimes we have to solve them ourselves through our sheer will of what is right. The Queen's goal in the story is to protect her people, and throughout the whole thing, it is what's being at stake here. That this peaceful planet Naboo would fall under the control of the Trade Federation, and whether or not the Republic would step in to help them, because if they don't, then Naboo could very well turn into a planet like Tatooine, where her people are enslaved. Her reliance on the Republic was evident in the early stages of the film, but it all changes when she meets a boy named Anakin Skywalker with a bright future. Okay, bad joke. But it is through Anakin Skywalker who, like Luke Skywalker, says,
"But I want to go. It's what I've always dreamed of doing."
Then his mother tells him that the choice is his own. Anakin's story here is a perfect contrast with the Queen's, because the film has a lot to say about choosing your destiny. You have a little boy who's been a slave and lived in the same boring, lifeless place most of his life, but he has dreams of leaving the place and doing great things, and he accomplishes it on his own. I mean, his mother wasn't really that supportive of the whole race thing. This is what the Queen appears to learn from him, that we have the power to be self-reliant, to choose our destinies or to do what is right, since the whole thing about the Star Wars saga is about redemption after all. The first part of the Star Wars saga establishes the corruption of political institutions like the Republic and even the Jedi, the introduction of Anakin Skywalker, all leading into the original trilogy. But underneath all of that, essentially this is the story of a queen who is trying to protect and save her kingdom, and it's being told through the eyes of the Jedi for this film, and Jar Jar. Alrighty, thanks again for watching. See you next time.